WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Today marks day 3 in the search for a missing Alabama man. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Quentin Smith. Several agencies from North Mississippi are helping Monroe County deputies search for 48-year-old Roger Taylor. Taylor, who you see here on your screen, was last seen on Monday in Greenwood Springs in Monroe County. He was wearing a green shirt and pants and was also wearing a cap. Monroe County Sheriff Cecil Cantrell says they found Taylor's vehicle around Cemetery Road yesterday, but there's still no sign of Taylor. Cantrell says family members say the 48-year-old has a physical issue.
He does have some physical problems. I understand he has some heart issues and some other issues, and you know, of course, that plays a part in all this searching for him, and we just hope we find him alive and well.
If you have any information on Taylor or his whereabouts, you're asked to contact the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. A Noxubee County woman is accused of intentionally ramming a four-wheeler carrying her ex-boyfriend and another person. 29-year-old Jasmine Calhoun is being charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault and 1 count of malicious mischief. Her bond is set at just over $11,000. Captain Vance Phillips says a vehicle versus four-wheeler call came in last night from the Cedar Creek area. He says Calhoun was driving when she rammed the ATV off the road and into this fence. Phillips says the ex-boyfriend and another woman were on the four-wheeler at the time. The crash landed all 3 people in the hospital with minor injuries. Calhoun was taken into custody after she was released from the hospital. Well, it's been a fixture on Columbus's south side for over a century, but soon the Palmer Home for Children will have a new home. By the end of June, the Hernando and Columbus locations will become one. And as our Stephanie Poole reports, Palmer Home's president and CEO says it's a move they're looking forward to.
Over the past 120 years, the Palmer Home has served as a safe place for children. Originating here in Columbus, the legacy served by providing a home and comfort zone. Now it's moving to Hernando. President and CEO Drake Bassett says the board and staff are currently working to see that this move will go smoothly.
This is part of a larger plan to expand more services to children who need them. As we've gone through our whole child process over the past few years and taken a look at vulnerable children and what they need, we know they need residential, which we have provided for 120 years.
From housing 30 children with ages reaching as far as 18, transition is important. Bassett ensures that staff and counselors are paying attention to how children will cope with the move.
A lot of our kids are excited too. It's a new place, it's a new opportunity. We made the announcement, but we also spoke to staff and children first and explained the process. And one of the reasons we did that was so that we could go ahead and take the time that we need over the next few months to make sure that the transition goes well.
Foster care is a beneficial and imperative detail. They will continue to recruit and help families in the area who already care for Palmer Home children.
This is a bittersweet conversation. The sweet part is that we're going to reach more children, serve more children, and help more children. That's the sweet part. The bitter part is that Palmer Home began here in Columbus 120 years ago. We're leaving a location. We're not leaving the legacy. We're carrying that with us.
Palmer Home thrift stores in Columbus and other locations will stay in the friendly city. Administration and other operations will continue to be here in Columbus.
That was our Stephanie Poole reporting there. Now, Bassett says becoming one campus allows them to focus on residential care and also allows them to divert resources and create new programs in the future. Well, it is now time to turn our attention over to weather. Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson is standing by with a first look at our forecast. Keith?
Quentin, there's been some talk of some storms tonight, and we do have one storm, actually a severe thunderstorm, just around Sardis, north of Batesville. That is moving northeast. It's not going to affect our area. We're really looking at a quiet spell here tonight as this activity lifts to the north and northeast away from our area. But still, the front is back to the west, and we'll have a chance for some additional showers and storms tomorrow. It's going to be a warm and windy night and day tomorrow, 60s tonight. Tomorrow we're in the 70s. There still could be a strong storm in the region on Thursday, but things are looking better and better starting Friday. More on your full forecast coming up.
Thanks so much, Keith. A damage assessment team from MEMA and FEMA spent the day looking at flood damage around Chickasaw County. The joint agency damage assessments will help determine if state and federal aid will be available for repairs to home, businesses, and roads. One of the hardest hit areas in Okolona was a portion of Jefferson Street, which was flooded when the rains overwhelmed the drainage system. Okolona Public Works Superintendent Richie Cousins says the aid is needed to pay for permanent repairs. Now, if the requests are approved, it could take several months for the county to receive state and federal funds. A public hearing tonight could help determine how some federal dollars are spent right here in the Friendly City. The Mississippi Home Corporation and the Mississippi Development Authority were in Columbus seeking input from local residents. MDA's authority manager says the state got $29 million in federal grant money from the Department of Housing and Urban Development just last year. Input from these meetings could help determine how some of that money is spent.
Local units of government have the right to apply for the funding to the state, but it's very competitive, so everyone doesn't receive funding. However, we do encourage our local units of government to apply for the funding, particularly if they have infrastructure needs and things of that nature, because the money is so important to help their citizens and their communities as well.
And there are a total of 5 public hearings scheduled throughout the state. Mississippi has been getting a little less screen time recently, and a part of that is because the state allows some of the incentives to shoot movies here to expire. Courtney Ann Jackson has the latest on efforts to rewind that move.
People are calling me saying, why can't we have some more movies?
The answer? Mississippi allowed the tax rebates for the out-of-state productions to expire in 2017. This 2015 peer report revealed a lower return on investment than what some lawmakers were comfortable supporting.
They only looked at the actual raw dollar amounts, and they showed that there was about 49 or 50 cents a return on every dollar we were spending.
But some in the movie business are telling lawmakers that they threw in the towel too soon.
Certain industries take time to mature and to grow. So obviously there may be some upfront investments that have to be made by the state, and they pay back over a longer period of time.
The report showed the steady uptick of productions while the rebates were in place. Senate Tourism Chair Lydia Chassenal says she saw the impacts in her community during filming.
I think it has a lot of positive intangibles like the publicity and the fact that a lot of industries were involved with building supplies, restaurants, all of these places that you wouldn't think of as being part of the film industry, but really benefited from having the movies made in Mississippi.
Still, the data has some lawmakers pushing back on reinstating the film incentive rebates.
All the reports look like we're actually losing money on this. It makes it even worse. It makes this one a pretty easy one to vote against, and to say not only philosophically do I disagree with it, but it's just bad policy and a bad place to put our money.
Senate Bill 2603 has passed both chambers but will likely go to conference to work out a compromise on the specifics. Either way, many are rooting for the return of movie magic. Courtney Ann Jackson, WCBI News.
West Point has a dynamic duo in the band hall, and we're honoring both of them as our Educators of the Week. Travis Metcalf and Ricky Brown are preparing their students for a concert in April. They both teach band in the West Point Consolidated School District. One conducts while the other walks around each section listening to make sure the students are playing the right notes. Brown and Metcalf say teaching music is very fulfilling, and through the year they see the students playing to build a crescendo.
Always a good feeling to see the things that you give the students and you see them use it to their benefit. And you see them become better from the stuff that you're giving them. That's always been a good feeling from day one. And it keeps me coming back.
Because I love to see what the kids are all about, the beginning, and then the end part is when they finish out learning their instruments and go all the way through high school and even go to college. And at that point, I feel like I have done a part of setting that stage for them.
Now, of course, if you would like to nominate your favorite teacher, just visit our website at WCBI.com.
It is a mild evening, upper 60s, low 70s still as of 10:11. Lows tonight, worst case scenario, just a few more degrees. The best chance of rain just to our northwest. Still a risk for a little bit of storminess tomorrow before the sun returns. Great weather for the weekend. More on that after the break.
WCBI First Alert AccuWeather Forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
So nice to see you. Hopefully you didn't get blown away. If you're watching this, you didn't, but it's been a windy day out there. That's our time lapse, our Alpha Insurance camera in downtown Columbus. Your weekend Saturday, mostly sunny, 57 degrees, low 60s on Sunday. But hey, we're mostly sunny. The best weekend we've had in ages. Now, still a chance for a few storms tomorrow, but not everyone will see it. Can't rule it out, though, as we go throughout the course of the afternoon into the early evening. We're back into the 70s. Winds still from the south and southwest, 15 to 25 with some higher gusts. So breezy now, breezy and windy, I guess you could say, tomorrow. The last real strong storm is right there just north of Sardis Lake. That is moving towards Holly Springs, not going to affect our area. And this is really the last part of the strongest activity anywhere near our area. The center of this big system is back to the northwest, and that thing was a whopper earlier today. Record low pressure set in Kansas, Colorado, New Mexico today as that thing was really strengthening, and we still have wind gusts out there in the high plains in the 60s. This is a big storm. Look at the wind field here. We have wind gusts here over 30, and it goes all the way back out there to the Rockies. Now, the wind today in Denver was up to 80. Tupelo, you gusted to 41, so an extensive storm system all the way across the lower 48. We are being affected by it. Now, you go above the surface, we have this thing called the low-level jet. These low-level winds, very strong right now, really helping to get those storms and showers going near Memphis. But that wind field will be shifting away over the next 24 hours. As that pulls away, the threat for strong storms will go away with it. Now, we still have the risk for a few strong storms in our region for Thursday. This is the latest outlook for severe weather, category 2 of 5. But I'll tell you, the overall threat here is pretty low. Wind, tornadoes, hail, flash flooding in the low category here Thursday, probably from midday onward. So we'll watch it, but at this point, it doesn't look like a prolific outbreak by any means, and that's great news. Now, Futurecast picking up on those stronger showers and thunder showers this evening. Your morning commute should be fairly benign, but can't rule out some showers early. The best chance for storms from about midday into the afternoon as that front sweeps through. That goes away. Drier air builds on in tomorrow evening. We're looking at some very nice weather Friday. Variably cloudy, 60 degrees, 57 Saturday. Again, lows this weekend down into the 30s. Maybe a frost right there by Saturday morning or Sunday morning. Pretty nice weather, low to mid 60s, Quentin, as we get into next week.
The Rebels take a spring break trip to Kentucky for some midweek diamond action. We'll have the highlights later in sports. Welcome back. March is Colon Cancer Awareness Month. Now, colon cancer is treatable if it's caught early, and thankfully there's a simple screening that can do just that. We find out more in tonight's Health Talk with Baptist.
Hey, I'm Dr. Richard Hurd, part of the gastroenterology team at Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle. Our team wants to make sure you are aware just how common colon cancer is and how you can prevent it. Did you know that the lifetime risk of developing colon cancer is 1 in 20? Here are 20 people. Who out of this group is the unlucky one? Colon cancer is the third most common cancer and the second leading cause of cancer-related deaths, and it's preventable. Why is a preventable cancer the second leading cause of colon cancer deaths? It's simple. Not enough people are getting their colonoscopies. Colonoscopy can prevent colon cancer by snipping out small growths called polyps before they get too big. If you wait until you have problems to get checked out, it may be too late. Who needs a colonoscopy? If you're 50 years old, you need one, period. If you have a family history of cancers or polyps, you may need one sooner and should ask your doctor. Colonoscopy isn't as bad as you think. We take great effort to protect your privacy, and we demand professionalism from our staff. We give you medicine to help you sleep during the procedure, and you get the day off from work. Don't let the fear of a colonoscopy give colon cancer a head start. Join us next time for Health Talk with Baptist, when we'll discuss what happens after you're diagnosed with colon cancer.
Mail your topic suggestions to healthtalk@wcbi.com. Health Talk has been brought to you by Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle.
The Bulldogs and the Rebel have officially arrived in Nashville. A report from the Music City is coming up next in sports.
The CBI sports coverage of the SEC basketball tournament is brought to you by Wade Incorporated. Bank first, a better way to bank. And visit Columbus, the city that has it all.
The SEC men's basketball tournament officially begins today, but for Ole Miss and Mississippi State, the action really won't start until tomorrow. Ole Miss going up against Alabama at 6 p.m. tomorrow, and following that game at hopefully, and I cannot stress this enough, hopefully 8:30, will be the Bulldogs against either Texas A&M or Vanderbilt. Now, as we wait for the action to take place, WCBI Sports' Tom Melville reports from Nashville with more.
Chris, the feeling around Bridgestone Arena is just how competitive the 2019 SEC men's basketball tournament will truly be. From top to bottom, almost every team believing that they can make a deep run to Sunday, one of those teams being the Ole Miss Rebels. The Rebels putting in work on Wednesday, preparing for its Thursday matchup against the Alabama Crimson Tide, a team that defeated Ole Miss in Tuscaloosa 74-53. Kermit Davis speaking today about the competition in the SEC and how when it gets to the tournament, you got to throw out the number next to your name because almost anyone can make a run.
Our side of the bracket's like going to a Final Four. I mean, you start thinking about it. Alabama is one of the most talented teams in our league, and then it's Kentucky, Tennessee. It's almost like going through a Final Four. And but you're right. I think they say that based on our game against Tennessee when Grant Williams hit kind of a last-second shot to beat us. As you were there with the Kentucky game, how competitive that was. And you're right. I think there's probably, 5, 6, 7 teams that could win the tournament.
Every team we played, whether we won or whether we lost, it was a close game for the majority of it. So it's going to be a crazy tournament. There's going to be a lot of really, really fun finishes.
We could play with anyone, in this conference. We have, we took Tennessee to the wire, Kentucky as well, and I just feel like, those two teams, after the Alabama game, those two teams, stand in the way of the championship game, and, I feel like we can hold our own.
Ole Miss and Alabama tipping off at 6 p.m. on Thursday. No Mississippi State here in Nashville on Wednesday. The Bulldogs choosing not to use its practice time on Wednesday here inside Bridgestone Arena. So the next time we'll see the Bulldogs will be in action against the winner of Texas A&M and Vanderbilt. That game tipping off 25 minutes after Ole Miss and Alabama. Reporting here inside Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tom Ebel for WCBI Sports. Chris, we'll send it back to you in Columbus.
Quick update on the Vanderbilt and Texas A&M game. The Aggies are up double digits with less than 3 minutes to go. Now on the baseball, Ole Miss trying to close out a 2-game series against Louisville. First inning, Ryan Olenek, he gets this catch, diving grab to get the out and get the Rebels out of a jam. Now on to the bottom of the second for the Rebels. 1 out, 2 runners on. Cardinals knock this one to the third base. He taps his foot there, throws it to first. Double play, gets the Rebels out of the inning. Preventing further damage, they trail by 4. Now to the top of the ninth. Runner on, Ole Miss down by 5. Cooper Johnson takes this one over the wall. That's going straight to downtown Louisville. The Rebels get a 2-run homer right there. Now they're only trailing by 3. Now to bat, Tim Elko. He knocks this one over the right wall. Back-to-back home runs for the Rebels. That's how you get back in the game. Now they'll be trailing by 2, but they can't pull off the comeback. Rebels fall by 10-8. They return to play on Friday against Florida at home. Now Mississippi State, number 5 ranked Bulldogs, they're taking on Grambling. Top of the 4th, Grambling up 1-0. Bases loaded jam. Eric Sarantola gets the strikeout. That'll keep the Tigers at bay. Bottom of the 4th, Elijah McNamee batting, and he hits this one to right field. Oops. The outfielder, that ball goes under his glove. That's going to bring in a run for the Dogs to tie up the game. McNamee, he ends up going to third base, and this would only be the beginning. 2 out, same inning. Josh Hatcher, he takes this one to the left center field wall. That's going to bring home McNamee. Hatcher, he gets the RBI double, putting the Diamond Dogs up 2-1. Now we go on to the bottom of the 5th. Runner on second. Jake Mangum hits a ball that goes off the wall, off the glove of the first baseman. That's going to score a run. MSU goes on to win 18-1. That'll be all for sports. We have a last look at your forecast coming up after the break.
Some showers and storms still possible tomorrow. Windy, warm Thursday, Quentin, then that sunshine, quiet weather returns. A great weekend on tap.
I tell you, Keith, I just put my coat and winter clothes up in the closet.
So chilly there this weekend.
I got to pull it back out this weekend.
Maybe not a heavy coat, but a jacket nonetheless.
Okay. Have a good night, everyone.